Hello, I'm Howard Schechter, and I'm from The Perfect Edge, and proprietor of that business, have been for about 22 years. And I have been sharpening my whole life, but the last 22 years really have been focusing on straight razors. And a lot of questions have come up over time relative to whetstones and to steel, and I approach it from the background that I have, which is having worked in machine shops, worked in factories, and worked in laboratories as well, and worked in quality control. So, when somebody asks me a question, I take it from that perspective and that background. One of the questions that always comes up is, what is the grit? I look at a stone, how do I know it's 500 grit, or it's 1,000 grit, or it's 5,000 grit? And the answer to that in industry, a lot of people just guess, okay? And you can look at a stone and guess, and your guess is as good as anybody else's guess. In industry, where there's specifications for products and it matters how rough or smooth something is, they developed ways to measure that. And it's not necessarily a quantitative way of measuring it, but it's more of a qualitative way of measuring it. So they have standards for this. And you buy kits of these metal tabs, and they are used to compare with surfaces such as whetstones, okay, side by side in a machine called an optical comparator. And it's high magnification, and you can adjust it very finely, adjust the depth of field of the focus, and you can, from a standard, you can say, yes, this product here, whether it's a stone or a piece of metal, is finished to 5,000, 3,000, or whatever. Now, there are a number of different types of roughness comparators, and you can see that there are different scales, and each of them is very unique to a different type of product. You can see they go from very smooth on up to very rough. So I could look at something like a DMT diamond stone side by side under an optical comparator, and I could say, yes, this is equivalent to that. Now there are tables available on the web which say, yes, a Japanese 10,000 grit stone is equivalent to a Shapton 12,000 grit, or a Norton, or any of the other stones that people have gone to the trouble of doing. Personally, I don't know how much value there is to that information. I'll know from when I look at the edge of a blade under my microscope, I'll know immediately whether I have to go to a smoother stone, or if I have to stay with the current stone to get it to what I need to be before I move to a smoother stone. And I will do that after every stage in the honing process by examining it with the Carson microbright. So I highly recommend the microscope as a way to do this. You don't have to go to industrial standards, although there are a group of people with whom I speak regularly who go to all the trouble of doing this and end up with better results as a result. So there are and have been a variety of different types of tools to do this. This one is a cast surface comparator. You can see from the label that this is probably 80, 90 years old. And the tool itself is full of a gradation of surface types, different roughnesses, and you can use these to gauge what your surface that you're looking at is relative to a known standard. And these are usually ANSI standards. There's also a Japanese standard and probably a European standard as well. This is any culture which makes precision tooling, like in America, Japan, or Germany, England, France, will all be using tools like this to dial in their surface finishing processes so that they'll be repeatable and you'll get reproducible results each time. And if the customer has specified a surface finish, you can guarantee that it will be finished to that level of roughness. The finer you go, the more expensive the process. The most expensive is space certified. Those surfaces have to be very, very tightly fitting and close fitting so that gases can't escape the space capsules. And regular machining processes are much less, but typically you'll be referring to these in a non-quantitative manner as a satin finish, a mirror finish, an orange peel finish. I've seen that too. So you'll hear various terms around. But I just wanted to talk about that because it does come up as an issue from time to time. Thank you very much.